Hi, this is Ross from VSI. In this video we're going to take a look at the VSI generated schematic flowcharts for your vectoring within Communication Manager. So that's part of configuration management for us. So configuration management is understanding what we have, where it is, how it fits together. So as part of that we create, based on CMDB information or configuration management database information, we create these as-built schematics. So in configuration management under as-built schematics, this web page is going to give us all of the VSI generated schematics. So once a week up in the cloud, all of that text-based configuration management database, that's all looked at, and schematic diagrams are created for various reasons. So parts of the solution like the control network, like the network region diagram, like media gateways, they're all schematic, converted to schematic views to ease the interpretation of that information. Along with that, we also do the vector flowcharts. So here's ACM vector diagram for Agile R6 production, which is a communication manager system. Now, I've double clicked on there, and that file is now coming down onto my local workstation. So the size of the file depends very much on the number of vectors you've got in your environment. If we double click on there, we can see that that's a compressed Visio format. So of course I have to have Visio on my local workstation. So I double click on there. That's going to open Visio, and it's going to import all of those vectors. So you can see down the bottom here, those vectors are being processed into flowchart format. Now, like the download, the amount of time this takes is going to be dependent on the number of vectors that are being converted. So in the case of this demonstration, there's about 85 or 90 odd vectors in this environment, and you can see that these are being constructed now. That's just going to take, a minute or two to do that. Similarly, we've got other customers that have 500 or 1,000 vectors. That'll take quite a bit longer to import that into Visio. So while that process is going on, you can leave that running and go off and do something else. But as you can see, for an environment of this size, 85, 90 vectors, that's done in probably less than a minute. So a huge labour saver. So the first diagram we look at is kind of the landing page. This is where all the vectors are listed. So vector 1 is called attendant, for example. Vector 36 is called Agile AU, looks like operator V2. That's straight from the configuration. If we right click on this and then have a look at data and then shape data, this will show us the VDNs that are feeding into this particular vector. So we can see there's a VDN there called Agile Operator Australia, and the VDN is 4536. So if there was multiple VDNs feeding into this vector, they'll just be listed down here. Also in this embedded data, we also attach things like if this vector was to call another vector, that's obvious in this attached data as well. So we can start to see, for example, in that case, maybe vector 36 is linked to vector 37 or something like that. So we close that down. So we know that this vector, how this vector is being called, which VDN. And if I control click on this now, control click, that's going to take me to the actual vector logic inside vector 36. So we'll zoom in a bit here. That's a pretty big vector from the look of it. I'll center that and bring it up a bit. You can see this vector is, the logic's all mapped out. Once again, within the vectors, there's things like the red steps here. These are potentially redundant steps that we've identified in the configuration. We'll do a bit of a logical check as the application draws these diagrams, and if it finds there's something it thinks is redundant or unnecessary, it will flag it with a red banner. Of course, that needs human intervention to validate that or not. So here's an announcement step. So collect 1 digits after announcement 9766. If I want to know a bit more detail about extension 9766, again right click, go to data, shape data, and this is going to tell me where it is. So we can see that announcement 9766, the WAV file is called agile_Australia_after hours, and we can see that it's in 2 locations. So on the first board it's 22 seconds long, 178 kilobits, and it's on 001 V9. The second announcement is also 22 seconds, 178 kilobits, and on board 101 V9. So this announcement's obviously arranged into an audio group, and really important when you do audio groups that the same underlying WAV file exists in all of the locations, all of the board locations for that particular announcement, because if it's not, you're going to get an inconsistency of the message that's played. So depending on where the incoming trunk is, you'll get at times one message played off one board and then another time off the other board, and if they're different, of course that's going to be a problem for you. Down the bottom of these diagrams there's a little house. Here's our little house here. So if I control click on there, that's going to take me back to that original landing page of all those vectors. So you can see here that this is potentially quite a large labour saver. Again, the red banners potentially redundant, could be looked at for removal. So in this case, no VDNs feeding in there, no other vectors calling that vector. And you can see from the name in that case, Roger F test, that's probably quite legitimate that that is redundant, or seen as being redundant. So all in all, a major labour saver. We have some customers using the VSM service who have previously employed people, and their sole task or their primary task is to keep those vector diagrams up to date, so the business has a good, easy to interpret flowchart type record that can be referred back to. With this level of automation, certainly doesn't take away all of that role, all of that responsibility altogether. We still also need, always need humans to make decisions, business decisions, and to ratify these diagrams. But certainly, breaks the back of that task, and people with those roles can be used to carry out stuff that's more important, to get on with projects and, effectively be a lot more productive. So I hope you found this video useful. Cheers.